Well, I'm getting it.
There's really something deep down that you're not. Put down, like, I couldn't believe it.
The part I've never heard of that.
I never did either.
My dog, has been through the dog contract. And,
Okay.
But, yeah, she just goes there, whatever, and it's basically, yeah, this is just like a, but I started it when I was in a gap boxer, and you need to get her that end of the relationship. And she was like, kind of like the side that you were feeling where it put your shoulders on that. And it was in that back at the shape for a while. Okay, well, that does, like you mean. Basically, but for a while, and then the class that was pretty impressive was, everyone.
You did that on the
Boxer. Yeah, they did that done with,
Interesting.
There's about 30 people came.
That's your too. I did not hear back from Erwin, but I booked it anyway, because at least I'll have you as a board member. And for the building and grounds, because Garrett will be here.
What date was it?
Friday,
This coming up Friday
maybe?
at 8?
Yeah, it is Friday.
Sounds right.
Yeah, it's down there, yeah.
Sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said yes.
Yes.
I will ask him again, because he didn't get back to me. But one board member is going to do it.
Right. Is there a meeting? Yeah, we have an iron meeting. Okay. It's a little desolate. Yeah. 3:13 Friday night? I don't know.
Hello, Lana. How are you? Hi, Miss Rocket. How are you?
About my cell phone.
Oh, the alarm.
It is.
What's gonna happen?
I'm sure. You never know, Marla. Something could be leaking somewhere.
Oh, God. I actually saw two people standing on the side of the bell of the tour.
They were standing where?
On the side of the track. We were
Oh.
up the ski area.
Oh.
And they're standing on the side of the track.
Why did you give me?
Oh, because it was falling out of my hand. I pretended to have it.
Dan said you got a new puppy.
So,
What kind of puppy?
Silver Lab.
Silver lab. So she's like blue.
Let's see.
Want my bifolders?
No, I have.
I have no idea what that is. Oh my goodness. You didn't get to?
No, I did not get to. When all my kids leave me, I get a puppy.
It's fine. I think only crazy people get two puppies at the same time. They have taken over now.
Yeah.
And
Anne says that she has Lane's puppy.
yeah, she does not like German Shepherds. Could be the loss of the one eye.
From the German Shepherd?
Well, it was from her old German Shepherd. She
Okay.
spooked her one day, and she just kind of like, and yeah, and it had to go. That's where all of our stimulus money went from COVID. Because it was on Easter, so like had to go to the emergency. It was so scary. I was like, I can't fix that.
No. There's a lot of things you can do yourself.
Yeah, not that. No. Yeah. So she is our one night diva. She's a good inside. She's a 3.5 pound Yorkie. So she's about this big. That's Lainey's dog. And now that Lainey's at college, and we have two 6-month-old German Shepherd puppies, she does not want to be around them. PTSD at its finest. So, We can start with Alpha.
Or did you see what I did make the meeting for Friday at 8?
No,
I sent you a text,
oh,
but I didn't hear back, but I made it anyway because I had to get in touch with you. It's coming.
yes, in fact, I saw your most recent one canceling the 24th, so I get the 2 weeks off.
Right, the 24th is canceled because we're going to do it on the 14th. At 8 o'clock.
I'll be,
Okay, thank you.
thanks.
Hopefully no snowstorm, but that's Thursday. I don't know, I'm wondering if I did the last one. No, they did. There it is coming, so I'm assuming it might be here.
Oh, did I see a couple of rooms in different colors? What's happened to the,
Oh, yeah, that's Colin's part. Yeah,
didn't you have like a different one?
what's that?
Wasn't it like gray or something?
Yeah. As it's permit and we already told, but it was a deer though. It
Oh, I
wasn't
said, okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Told the car, and I said to him, so I've been driving for 30 years and I've never totaled the car.
Got it out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. I do.
Just left a message and I couldn't find it.
Mine. It's an old one, but it's
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. How are you? Very good, how are you? Come on. We're just walking. Huh? Nice. It was so amazing. Well, that, I wanted to do that because you really didn't show me anymore, but I don't want, I don't.
I'm not going.
Motion to approve the minutes of the January 13th, 2025 Board of Education meeting. Motion by Tom, second by Tara. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Abstained? Carried. Motion to approve the minutes of the January 16th, 2025 Board of Education meeting. Motion by Sarah, second by Erlen. Any discussion? This is our special meeting to accept the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Carries. Motion to accept the CSE, the CPSE, and the 504 report. Motion. Motion by Melissa. Second by Tara. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstained? Carries. Mike, do you have any agenda changes?
No.
So we have our financials, we have the general fund expenditures, the school lunch fund, the lunch report, the extracurricular fund for November, and our extracurricular fund report for December. Does anybody have any questions as you are able to look over that?
Yeah, I have a question on it. We fuel up for the calendar, right? For our buses.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Do we fuel up our buses over at the calendar?
Yes.
And what's the rate we pay over there?
I have to look it up.
Oh, that's okay. Do we pay the same as the town and the county?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes, it is based on state contract,
Okay,
but I don't know the exact rate.
okay. And fuel oil, because it's been so cold, it's gone up?
It's, the last delivery we got 2 weeks ago was $2.99 a gallon. And it was, the time before that was $2.70 a gallon.
Yeah, are we burning a lot because
It
of?
don't seem to be, I want to say a little over 10,000. We've only, Stephanie said we only had 3 drops so far this winter, so we're doing pretty well.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
I just have one question, and it's probably due to the December and January, but there's two different issue bills. The small, the 92,000 and the 215,000.
215,000 is health insurance, 92,000 is the regular BOCES bill.
Okay.
Anything else? Stephanie, is there anything you wanted to point out to a copy?
No.
Okay. Motion to approve Catherine Ash horizontal promotion, MA +12 as per the JCSTA contract. Motion by Sarah. Second by Chris. Chris? Was that- okay. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstaining? Carries. Motion to accept Catherine Ash's letter of resignation as director of the school musical, effective immediately. Motion by Tara,
Second.
second by Tom. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstaining? Carries. Motion to approve John Hurley's letter of intent to retire effective June 30th, 2025.
Motion.
Motion by Tom, second by Tara.
Can we put that with gratitude for, his, I think, 26 years of service?
Yes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstaining? Carried. Motion to appoint Robin J., Linda Pentavalley, Denise Conti, and Ann Buckwheat as co-directors for the 2025 school musical. Motion by Tara,
Second.
second by Melissa. Any discussion?
Are they gonna get the stipend?
Right now, they are not asking for the stipend, they're doing it in volunteering.
But if they did ask for the stipend, split if they could?
They could have split part of it, yes.
This is part of it still delegated.
Part of it. But I just wanted to talk a minute. I thought I had sent out their little brief informationals. So did we end up sending that, or did the board end up getting that? Like a little write-up? Okay.
You put a little something in the news and notes about them.
Did I? Maybe that's maybe. But I have a little bit more of a write-up. I just wanted to let the board know that, when we met on Monday, over the years, I've come to know Linda a little bit, but not anything with her work with musical, stage. I did not know Ann Buckley at all. So when Robin brought them, now I did know Robin had some stage knowledge, but not musical knowledge. I really, when I had said earlier in the weekend that I didn't know of anyone else, I really didn't know of anyone else. I'd asked, a couple of people who would sing. But after talking on Monday, it just became clear that it was a possibility. The missing link was a little bit of vocal, and they had made the decision to ask Denise Conti to fill that part of the gap, and then Denise agreed to do that. So that's when it really became like a possibility. That's how that process kind of worked out.
E is motion to approve the 2025-2026 school district calendar.
No, we didn't do it.
No? Okay, sorry. Tara and Melissa, have discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstaining? Carried. One abstain. Carried. Motion to approve the 2025-2026 school district calendar. Motion by Tara, second by Sarah. Any discussion?
Just let you know, it does follow the BOCES calendar pretty much. We try to stay as close as possible to that calendar, just because we do have students that attend it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. All right, so we have a discussion over North Warren and girls soccer.
So I think at the last meeting, the board had directed me to go back and have more conversations with our ADs, the administration from all three schools. And we have done that, and the ADs took last year's schedule, soccer schedule, fall soccer schedule, and I think they worked it out for about a month and showed how it could work, including transportation. But I can guarantee you, transportation will be hard. The coaches we talked to, the ADs, everyone thinks it's a great idea, and I think it's a great idea. And I'm not saying, I don't think, matter of fact, I don't think we should let transportation be that block to stop it. I just need the board to understand there will be stumbling blocks, there will be changes. One of the things that we've talked about is that, for instance, that if there was a game in, let's say, Boca Valley, that North Warren was going to drive the bus. So we picked up everyone, somehow all the kids got in the bus, they go to Boca Valley, they come home. What we're thinking is, because we may only have one coach or two coaches, that everyone would get dropped off at North Warren. And that would be the expectation for parents, that after the game, they would be picking up at North Warren. Because then the coach can stay there, they can make sure, you're not dropping off a group of kids with no supervision. Now, in talking with the ADs, who happen to be some of our coaches too, they're all in agreement that it seems like in the last maybe 15 years, not all, but many to most students ride home with their parents. They'll ride to the games with the team, but they'll ride home with parents. So they felt that number isn't going to always be huge at that whatever school. But that's an example of a change that might be put in place just because there's going to be this different transportation need.
So then the expectation would be that if Johnsburg or Minerva drive a trip, then the drop-off would be at that school, and then those North Warren and Minerva parents would have to from Johnsburg or Johnsburg, and North Warren would have to go to Minerva.
Right.
So whoever's driving goes back to them.
The homeschool and parents have to go to that
Just
homeschool game.
because, just for girls soccer?
Right now, it is just for girls soccer. We do, well, I'm going to clarify that a little more because right now we're already doing as a merged three school team for cross country. What's that? And North, I'm talking fall though. So most likely those cross country kids are also going to fit into that mix. Right now we have it where the kids do not normally practice together. They do sometimes, but oftentimes whenever Johnsburg is practicing, North Warren is practicing, and then we come together as a team. There are a few that we do get together. If we're doing this, I could foresee that maybe that would happen more often, that the cross-country team would run as a team. But
I can see us losing players because there's going to be parents that won't be able to come get their kids or just won't come get their kids at that late at night, and it's going to eliminate some kids being able to play, or parents can't afford to come get their kids. There's all these possibilities, and I don't think I'd want to go out at 10 o'clock and go get my kid at North Warren. But that's just my concern, that we're gonna have players that are girls that want to play and can't play because of the travel situation.
I think if we continue to look at the big picture and our enrollment, I think it's inevitable that we're gonna have to merge with another school besides Minerva.
I don't mind a merger. I mind transportation setup.
Yeah, but you only have so many bus drivers that can do it, we need to do what's reasonable. I'm sure there's gonna be North Warren parents who are gonna wanna drive from upstairs to Minerva, what they're going to do.
Well, there should be a way that both North Warren's driving, that they could, get off 26 and go to Minerva, go to Johnsburg, then go to Bolton. Or the same way, we could get off at Bolton exit not Bolton, North Warren exit, and then swing back this way, and
But you have to sit there and wait for all the parents to come. You can't just drop the kid off without a coach, and if you only have one coach on the bus, you can't have that coach be at all three schools. And somebody,
Yeah, why?
that coach be at all three schools. A coach, an adult has to be with them. You can't just drop off North Warren students without a coach being there with them to wait for parents. So that means the whole bus would have to wait. And then do the same thing at Minerva and the same thing at Johnsburg, depending on who's driving. That's what makes it difficult.
Yeah, I don't think it's like dropping off that's the issue, it's the supervision. Is that correct?
Well, I think they go hand in hand. Probably the bigger issue is at times the wait for a parent to come and get the student. But I think this is big, is finding enough drivers who, you start adding those other parts of it. You don't have drivers volunteering after a game, want to make that loop as part of the, drive either. So I think there's multiple things with it, but definitely supervision.
And it's not all the students that play don't come back on the bus. I mean, Paul drives bus, and he said there's many nights that it's him, the coach, and one child coming back, or him, the coach, and two
That's
kids.
fine, I'm just saying, there's gonna be students that are not gonna be able to play because parents will not be able to pick them up in North Warren.
I think that, I honestly think that if there is a child that can't get transportation, the other parents step up.
We've seen that multiple times.
Is the expectation that all the practices would then be split three ways again? Because this is where I stumble on this. It's already hectic and confusing enough as to where is practice today, and,
Right.
the kids don't like it, nobody likes it. So is that what the expectation is, to have
I think
another location?
So I think what the hope was, and if you remember back when the group met, the athletic group, giving the ADs and administration the ability to make logical decisions. So I would hope that we would sit down and maybe try to come up with a more constant to some of those, so that, parents do know where the kids are practicing.
And have it be consistent, not, what I guess I'm right now speaking more as a parent, because, it was confusing to figure out where are you practicing today? Even when they did it week by week, it was. Yeah, I think we can
So will there be a bus take from the Bolton and come up to Bolton, or North Warren? Is there gonna be a bus take them and bring them up back?
Practices are what they
Again, I know that people that have money and are getting enough to have extra, there's just as many in our town that don't have the extra. And I don't think it's fair for a kid not to be able to play because of that.
the time. I'm just going off from what I know our coaches, and then Tara just kind of said that what Paul has seen. I would guess most nights on a bus, there are maybe 3 or 4 kids that are riding that bus back home.
And I think if they know ahead of time and the expectation is there, I think that parents would be able to work with other parents and, maybe they have to give a note or something saying they're gonna go home with so-and-so's parent after the game instead of
And I
riding the
think
bus.
Heather, you would agree, that has increased dramatically in the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay. What about the agreement prior to this was that varsity would be here pretty much for both practices and games because we have the excellent fields. Now, that gonna now make the girls go week to week to all these schools and miss out on having the superior practice field and or game field?
I think it would depend on whether or not North Warren has really good fields.
The field behind your old school?
Oh, the old school, yeah.
That's a nice field, that's where they play. At least that's where the boys play. Yeah.
Well, the boys play. So are we going to be considered Johnsburg, Minerva, North Warren?
This would be, for the girls soccer, it would be like cross country, cross country and tennis. And we are all three schools merged together.
Are we looking at new uniforms for the girls soccer? Or is,
I would recommend, but this is something that we can look at, is that like we did with tennis, or not tennis, I'm sorry, cross country, that we switch on and off for at least a year. Meaning one game we would wear the Johnsburg Minerva colors, and then the next game we would wear the North Warren colors. And if this works, then maybe we purchase those uniforms. I don't know if I would jump in.
something that is high?
And we did do that with cross country for, I guess, for quite a while.
Did it ever come up in your discussion with the ADs and coaches about inviting the players from North Warren to play for our team?
Those have been conversations, and they weren't interested. Because quite honestly, our varsity members were very similar. I mean, the feel is that what we're going to do is, if we don't, we will probably be, and we've done this in the past, so we certainly can do it again, but we'll probably be pulling up students who really probably would have benefited for another year on modified.
And that's not for the kids.
Again, we've been doing it for years because that's where we are. So I don't want to use that as the reason to. This could eliminate some of that.
So we could possibly have 20-some players.
I'm hoping for 18.
And the league is still the same?
The league is the same. I did put out there though that, so we would play the same schools that we're playing now. But if we were to make it to sectionals, then we would be put in a class C in the Mercy League. And those would be like your Ticonderoga and Mariah. That's just the way we do it. My understanding is that, because we would be considered a P school, size-wise, my understanding is you don't only go by size, but you also go by skill level. And our ADs felt that we would start with the same thing we're playing now. Now, if we outplayed them for a year or two, like really outplayed them all of a sudden, I could then foresee we would be jumped up to that other bracket.
Yeah.
Allison, is that, I'm asking you, is that a safe assumption?
Would we go north or would we go in the outer line?
No, we would stay north. So again, right now, we would stay with the team, we'd still be playing well, then we'd be in late, and we come spring late. Then I think the northern ones you play once, you played once every year. Is that right? Yeah. So like the Boca Valley, the World Pro, the Cities.
So Mike, this is actually for two teams, and modified and varsity for this spot?
Yes, it's for both of them. Okay. And we carried like 11 varsity, but we played some games down to 9. And we carried modified. I think we had a number modified, with 13, 12. And I'm going to give you an example. I just throw this out there. I remember, I can say their names because they were really good players. Megan Bacon and Kelly Dwyer that year, Kalia. I went up and watched the league final game, and we were playing Boca Valley. We far outplayed them. They had subs, and you could tell by the end of the game, it came down to the subs. You know, there was more energy. They had, they were able to help their players. They had good players too, though. It's not like we played bad teams. But, so I think that's what the coaches, when I was talking to them, the coaches were hoping that, this would make us more competitive. It would maybe start boosting that morale with soccer and, hopefully one thing might lead to the next.
I just had one other question. Do we know, I know it's a guess at this point, but what our numbers would be with 2 schools versus the other? One?
I think we're about the same, Rowan. I don't think we're, you know, gonna see much difference in number. And we'll look at Allison real quick, but, varsity's gonna be right on they're both gonna be right on the cusp.
Like 12 or something.
Yeah. And soccer's a hard sport to play with just enough kids, because by the time you're into the 3rd week, you're definitely dealing with some injuries, you're dealing with, some kind of ineligibility, but that's another story. But it's not an unusual game to have 2 or 3 kids out in soccer.
So what do you need from us tonight?
Well, we would need, we did not put it down as a motion to vote on. This is where we are with it. For us and for Minerva, quite honestly, we can make this decision as late as summer. The NBAC league, you hear almost right up to games like that schools have merged, schools have dropped out, a lot of things are happening. For North Warren, they're a little bit different. They have a March, and I want to say it's the 7th deadline. And what that means is if they don't give some type of answer by March 7th, let's say, then in their league, they will not be put into their schedule. So therefore, they can still play in their league, but they have to go out and get their own games within their league.
So even if they're real good, they couldn't be in the final.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that they just are not put in their normal schedule, and so they would have to go out and get all their games. Is that a fair description of that, Allison?
Yeah, so, yeah, the rest of it would be split into the other leagues and non-leagues, so that's what
Would they be open to sectionals at that point, Allison? I don't know that answer. They might not be. If they're good in non-league games, but if they're league, they might not be open. Now, I think North Warren's at the point right now where they're thinking they're not even sure if they can carry a team, for that. But those are the differences. Is that so? I guess what I'm asking is if this is something. I don't think anyone's comfortable voting tonight. But if this is something in the next couple of weeks, you guys feel we do want to make a movement on to help North Warren, and we're going in that direction, then what I might ask is that we have a special meeting that we would just have the one agenda item and vote on, is this something that the board would be interested in?
Here's the question, coming from the financial side of things, would that then split the expenses 3 ways? As opposed to just student entering in, go practices, rec,
Yeah, everything is this way.
Does anyone have any questions if they weren't answered?
Just to clarify, the coaches and the ADs, they were all on board with this from all 3 schools?
Yeah. I did not talk to their coach, I will say that. But I talked to our coach for varsity that is here. I know Candace talked to the modified coach there, Carly, and then Josh, who is their AD. I'm going to put on an assumption, so I want to be careful of that, of talking to the North Warren coach. That was each school's individual task.
Okay, so would we like to have some time to mull it over and ask some more questions?
And that way, even if you do have more questions that you want to email me, you certainly could email me questions I could ask. Um,
They have to know by March 7th.
I know it's early March.
And when is our next meeting?
Not till 17th. That's why there would be the need for a special meeting. Like, one of the questions I certainly can ask them is, and because I don't know this answer, is does that kick them out of their lead section? Again, from everything that they have presented, that certainly has not been a concern that they have brought up.
Because even if we voted on it tonight, you don't know if Minerva's ready to vote on it.
When is Minerva's meeting?
Thursday.
Okay, so they'll be discussing this. Okay, so do you have an indication on,
I really don't.
All right, so let's,
And remember, if we do have a special meeting, there's a requirement that we have to so many days before post it and, give the agenda out onto the website and stuff like that. So it will be a public meeting.
This is gonna be a discussion of Minerva's meeting on Thursday. So maybe after their meeting on Thursday, you and Candace can have a conversation to find out what, and then maybe we can preemptively look at a possible date to have a meeting to give us.
I can say that North Warren has had a discussion with their board, and they are very hoping that this is a possibility.
okay. So what way are we leaning? I know that you would not commit, Tom, it seems like you're not sold on it.
Again, I like the idea, I just don't like the situation. No matter what, there's gonna be kids that might not be able to play. And that's all I care about.
How are you leaning? Can we kind of get a gauge on how we're leaning? Does it commit you?
Yes.
I'm not against the idea, but I do want a little time to
Just
digest
to
it.
think about it? Okay,
Yes.
okay. I would be towards it. Sarah, what are your
I'm on the
thoughts?
fence.
Okay. All right. So you kind of have a gauge of where we are. There's, it seems like, Chris. Oh, Chris.
I'm all over it.
I'm really sorry.
Never forget who it all was.
Okay.
Um,
All right.
So what I do ask is please send me other questions and other pieces of information, or even if it's something you asked tonight, but you want more clarification. I do throw in there though, you may have to accept, I'm guessing, or I think, or, this is the plan. And then come September, don't hang me out with too much plans.
I think that I looked at it in the aspect that the transportation is, the thought of it is probably a nightmare, just because we have our own transportation issues that we deal with on a daily basis here for sports and other ones. But I think I look at it ultimately the fact of, eventually, there could be kids in North Carolina that can't play the sport at all. Or the merger could help, or we could have, Minerva couldn't play, or, so I just think ultimately down the road, looking at this, could benefit all the schools and all the students, transportation aside.
I think acknowledgement to that, to the transportation issue right in the beginning would alleviate some of the concern. Let everybody know, like, if you're having an issue, if you can't make it, please let someone know and make arrangements.
Coaches certainly could be a part of that.
I just really thought of a school not being able to have a team because of a transportation issue, we don't merge.
Well, I think what was also happening is, and all small schools see this, ebbs and flows, but I think Joe, when he talked to me, he felt that he and his team were starting to feel that frustration of having a team, but yet not being able to have enough numbers to be a competitive team. And again, small schools do that, but he has felt that now for a couple of years now.
Okay. So get your questions tonight. Let us know what Minerva is thinking, and then we can possibly set up a special meeting.
I'd kind of like to know what the
at least, I guess, good guess at what the number of players are going to be. That's fine.
I want to give us an idea. What's it, like 6 modified and, 9 varsity? Because I think together we had about 18 varsity.
And for that, and it's not just because we have, and now I, depending on the grades come up, we do a lot of experience. And the running or the Saturdays, the dining area is maybe 12, and they have to then play. There are some actors that we can give up and then the players, they're ready to help those.
As long as it doesn't take away from the other program.
No, I think what Allison is saying is the opposite, Tom, that those couple that could be moved up, that might be better for the program for them to stay on
Oh, okay.
and maintain that.
I totally agree with that.
Okay. Okay, so you have good direction. Okay. So I have one to add. We need, let's see. So we need to approve, North Warren, a merge with North Warren for cross country and golf. So let's do maybe 25, so let's do cross country first.
No,
Cross country for the 25, 26 school year?
need a motion.
Yes. Okay, Chris? Erwin, you said, okay, and Erwin. Okay, so. Just
With
approving on our
the
bill.
merger.
Yeah. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same carries. So motion to approve the golf. Three-way merger?
We just approved it. Yeah, I guess we do, because we have to approve the move on that.
The golf merger between, Minerva and North Warren and Johnston for the 2025 and 2026 school year. Motion by Tara, second by Sarah. All in favor?
Question first.
Yeah,
I don't think we do Minerva, because we already enforced it.
No, but we have to still, because this is a three-way merger. They need to see on the minutes that all.
so Minerva, Johnsburg, and North Warren merger, Tara and Sarah.
Do
Any
you have any?
Yeah,
discussion?
I have a question.
Okay, I just want to say, maybe this will answer your question, Tom. With the golf, though, paperwork-wise, it looks the same to the league. They just want to see that we're merging with them. The anticipation will still be, our student will be playing as a Cougar, and they will get their transportation to the school back and forth.
So we
Like,
just have one.
like they do for Nordic, they have to come here.
When Lori played, she had provided no transportation, so these people provide no transportation.
So we just have one student that has requested this.
Right now, but all I'm saying is, what we approved looks the same, because the paperwork looks the same. But the agreement between the schools is different.
Okay. All right. Is that everybody clear on that? Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Same carries. Okay, committee reports. Finance met tonight.
Yes, our finance committee, along with Mike, Stephanie, and I, have been able to put together a budget that balances. The main increases are salary and related expenses, and of course, it's offset by the additional 56,000 in state aid and our allowable tax cap is 212,000. But the largest part of the increase is really the health insurance, as has been mentioned before. And that is being offset by two Minerva students that are going to be, one is staying in Minerva because the parent works there, but the other one is going to be mainstream there in Johnston. That was quite a savings, along with two elementary retirements, because Tracy was in the current budget, because at the time, we didn't know exactly when she was retiring. And of course, John Hurley put in his letter tonight. So that's how this was able to balance. There's an allowable increase in the tax levy, the extra state aid, the two Minerva students coming, well, one staying, one coming back, and our two elementary teachers offset the additional expenses that we've done.
Can I add into that? Those two students, it was the recommendation from the CSE without
The
the
budget coming into
budget
play.
being a concern. That was a recommendation that was happening
Anyway,
anyways. We just were able to then look at the budget and take that money and look how it would spread across the budget.
And we're
So-
not gonna need to replace the teachers. We're not gonna need to replace the teachers.
no, no,
We can do we can do with what we have.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll give a more detailed version of this when we bring the full budget to the board for approval
At the next meeting.
at the next meeting.
Becky, can I ask one question? I know this year, our negotiations for one of the unions, so this budget being balanced, assuming all things are equal.
Assuming an across the board increase. Correct.
Thank you.
Any other, committees? Update report.
I just had a couple things. I think I put in your packet the BOCES. It's called Vision 2027. And I know I've talked about it before, but I just want to throw it out there again. This is where BOCES is moving forward with taking the two VOTEC sites and combining them into one site off from exit 16. And in addition to that, they're also taking all of their special ed classrooms, both they have some in those buildings, but they also have some in rented spaces throughout Glens Falls. And so that's relocating them at this site in two separate buildings, an elementary and a middle school, or middle high school. Again, what does that mean for Johnsburg? It means a lot of, I think, positive things. For example, transportation will start there. We will actually have a shorter trip going straight down the Northway and jumping off exit 16. And if you're familiar with exit 16, it's kind of behind that Stewart, which is right off the exit. So instead of going down Aviation all the way into Hudson Falls, I believe time-wise, this is going to be quicker. And that does not even include all those satellite schools that our bus travels to within Glens Falls. So this will be one site. The other thing that I think that I'm excited for our students is it has seemed over the last 20 years that Myers has, for some reason, been able to carry some of those programs that SAAC, that's where our students go, Southern Adirondack, has not been able to carry for a while, and I'm not even sure right now, maybe this, but HVAC was not offered at SAAC. Equine studies has never been offered at SAAC. Small animal science has not been offered at SAAC. So there's multiple things that I think this will open up to our students in the future as other possibilities for vocational things.
And the horticulture class.
And the horticulture class, which we did have for a number of years at SAAC, probably 5 years ago, left, and we only had it at Myers. Yeah, we've had different ones, offshoots of that, but the main ones, yeah, so.
So that's looking to be completed in 2027.
Correct. If you read anything or any information that you come across or anything like this, you have questions, please let me know. And either I or I will have Karina or a BOCES person come up. And I think they're planning to come out and do presentations as it is. But, yeah, I'm really excited for this, for our kids. I think it's going to open up doors.
Other people, anything?
Yeah, I just wanted to, say that as of tonight, thank you for this morning. I just wanted to, thank the people that were part of this, there, with the people that came up with the time, spirit, and, Heather Olmsted, and keeping up the role as our city fund. I'm sure there'll be many more acts that we go along, but definitely before the meeting started, and, that's what we want to know. So, great.
Got it, corrected. When is the show?
The show is scheduled for April 4th and 5th, and Saturday. And right now, we're going to do it as scheduled, unless we absolutely have to change it.
All right, any other business?
More of a comment than anything about, the archery program. Excellent program this year. Not that I anticipated it wouldn't be, but it's a great program. You're doing very, very well this year.
Can I jump onto that one? Because I just talked with Amanda. This year, the archery program, one of the differences was that they made the decision you had to take part in a tournament in order to make states. Back last year and before, anyone basically who wanted to go to states could go to states. And they found their numbers, and I found this out by talking to the person, because it was very hard to get into a tournament. And Amanda tried for a long time, she would even be a site she offered, but to get a school to come here was very difficult. She did end up doing that, which was just amazing. But in doing so, what we found out was that this new regulation was put in place because too many kids were going to Syracuse and they just didn't have the room, ability to house them. So they thought one of the answers would be if you had to shoot in a tournament, and then they would put a cut score, and that at that cut score would be the students who would qualify for the state tournament. So they did that, and when we did our first tournament, it looked like we only had a few be able to make it. So Amanda, on her own again, agreed with parents that she would sign them up to another tournament. And I believe the parents in the second tournament drove their own students, and they attended the second tournament. Between what those students shot there, and I will say the cut score was brought down because I think they realized maybe they put it too high, they didn't have enough kids going to states. We now have 16 students that qualified to go to states.
How many, 16?
16.
Awesome.
So,
When is the
good. March.
Okay, any other business?
So I had talked to Rachel earlier this week about something that we had talked about in our board retreat about community relations. What does the board think about the idea of maybe putting out a statement monthly from the board directly to help with, I don't want to say it's when something goes wrong, but like more positive affirmations just from us, the 7 of us.
Within the jottings, maybe?
I was thinking more parent square because there's a lot of people that don't read the jottings. Or, you know, sorry.
But I think that's a great idea, but I think we need to look a little further than that, because there's a lot of people in the community that do not have parent square, so they don't hear anything going on, and if you want the entire community, who are voters to hear, we need to get it out in something that everybody is going to hear.
I think multiple platforms. I think Facebook is not the answer. But I think just something that makes us more relatable to the community and the visitors that come and speak, because we stay silent. I think that we just need to be more relatable.
And clearly define what the board can do.
Right.
in a given
Great idea.
situation. What, why don't we have our school climate and community relations, committee, I have Mike and Heather and Chris and Erwin on that. Why don't we have you guys discuss what that looks like? Because I think when we're looking at that, we need to have some kind of a firm goal on what we want to communicate so that we don't, what does that look like? So why don't we have, I think it's a great idea, but let's have Chris and Erwin kind of, and Heather and Mike discuss that and see like, what does that really look like? Where is it best? What are we going to be communicating? What are the topics? And then, kind of get back to us and see what that is. How does that sound? Okay.
I do have, the, park, the reading program. They're doing the evening program that we did last year, and the board did an ice cream social. So the first question is, are you guys still interested in doing that? And if so, do I have some volunteers that be willing to come and scoop out some ice cream?
That's what you think, is that the 27th?
Yes.
That's,
Yeah. I think it is 4. So if you're here at 3:30, we'll get the ice cream set up and
yeah,
so we have to we'll somehow get, because we're just gonna buy half gallons down at Hopkins. Well, I think you had leftover store ice cream.
it's very popular.
Yeah. I'm sorry, do you have volunteers?
Sarah, Erwin,
I'm over here.
if you need a fourth, if you need a fourth, I would be glad to. No, it's a fun event. Yeah, it was great last year. I got a couple books. Four thirty.
I'll send out to those 4 people, I'll send out an email of what time, and we'll get here like half an hour.
4:30 was the time.
Wasn't it a really good dinner? Yes,
It
it
was.
was. Hardly anyone went to Celtic, that's why. All from the
It was, yeah.
Yeah.
Any
I like
other
to lose
business?
track, but,
Okay, visitor comments.
Statement about the better students to reverse the site.
One minute.
49 minutes, 61.
Well,
That's still an hour on the books.
But it's not any longer, right?
not like.
Not any longer, not any better.
Oh, no, I don't think it's like a tremendous amount shorter. I think the opportunity.
Right, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. When it comes to the civil merger with the Girl Scouts, I assume you've spoken to the group. But you first, you've spoken to them.
I took that.
Are you going to do that in relation to the facility? You said no likelihood that, no likelihood they will be,
So we're already merged with them.
so you said the new state system, the parent believes that we should pick up the things at one, which is one of them is that state. To your point, I lose. I want to think about following the purpose of that, it's going to be done. Usually, one, I would like to say thank you to community members for volunteering for trying to do this, that's awesome. And I just want to say thank you, Mike, and thank you, Heather, for making sure that they actually got this. I think it's really important. And board members.
for left. With that being said, Pat Davies at this point was rather convoluted and one of 14 pages of speculation. And it's rather telling that so many of the community jumped so quickly to the idea that certain ministers would push the house. I find it interesting because so much of this is the fact that it avoid current, past, and amendments, which frankly one of the board goals. In particular, board goal number 3, which is 5, that is long-term administrative plan. I take this to be that when other money comes, you're going to need your administrator, right? So perhaps I can offer some comments as to what you look for in the administration. One, at least 10 years of classroom teaching. Why? Well, an administrator remembers what they're doing in the classroom, day to day, good, bad, ugly, awesome, is less likely to make rash decisions, and is going to be a more critical educational leader who will help students and put students first. That's right. Number 2, someone who is just as likely to many those who should be praised, as well as those who should be condemned and satisfied with those who know. And a good leader is not ruled by fear, intimidation, or religion. A good leader rules fairness and hearing all sides, whether or not they agree with it or not. And lastly, and most important, someone who puts the student's needs first. An effective education leader does a guiding principle of how the decisions that they make impact the students in a positive way. The other thing that you think is how does this decision impact the teachers and the staff positively? Because without the teachers and the staff, you don't have a student. Without the students, you don't have a student. So without these 3 qualities, you will people left of good leadership. And being bereft of good leadership tends to let the student off. I don't want that to happen. I'm the only one here that I That's really great. Lastly, and for the life of me, I couldn't find a policy any on the website. I also know that on the national website, previously, they were nowhere to be found either. Other school districts that are local in Michigan, related to you can find their policies laid out as per New York State law. So, where are you? Speaking of policies, I believe, Rachel, you said this a while ago, something about AI policy. Now, if I recall correctly, David Ashton was supposed to come on the 8th of December. We talked about this very briefly last night. The question is, what happened? The reason I'm asking that is because recently, New York State has implemented their version of what's called the next generation science standards. In my opinion, it would be a great disservice if you don't teach your students how to use AI correctly and responsibly and ethically. Simply using AI detectors in classrooms does not constitute teaching kids how to use it ethically and correctly. And on top of that, if you use different AI detectors, you're going to get different results. So when you write the policy, are you going to make sure that the AI detectors that you use are going to be consistent? And how are you going to know if the AI detector actually detects AI or if it's just not correct? So I suppose the last thing I would say about it is if you don't teach AI correctly, it would be akin to not knowing students to use it. When I was in high school, in 2004, they looked down upon the world, and the world book is like everyone loved that. And then magically was college, look forward. Don't look at the past. My suggestion to the board is that you have the ability to make policies that will make kids want to come to school and not view it as some panopticon person where they're looked at and looked down on. and put through the ring. You have that ability in your hand. Craft policies that fosters learning, that doesn't make punitive advantage to students. Make them want to come to school. Your AEI intensity as board should be students first, not voters first. Perhaps. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any other visitor comments? Okay, we have upcoming dates. February 14th is Kiss the Goat fundraiser and Sundays for Scholars. February 17th through the 21st is our winter break. February 27th is our park kickoff. March 1st is CASMA at North Warren. March 11th is Battle of the Books. March 14th is archery tournaments in Syracuse, and March 17th is our next Board of Education meeting. Motion to adjourn. Okay. Okay, Sarah. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Abstaining? Carries. Good time.